When we wake up, we stay up. Got no time to waste. On the ground, we stay up. Can't let nobody face us. We on the way to lead out. They coming for us. Which streets stop to us? Nothing's impossible. That's why they call us dreamers. That's why they call us dreamers.
Hey dreamers, it's me, TahrifaTheDreamer, and in this video I'm going to give you some tips on how to study and how to stay organized. So, first thing with studying is figuring out how you learn. So, based on the Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences, there are 8 main learning styles. So you figure out which one applies to you, and then you find a method of studying that works for you. The first one is visual or spatial. You learn best with images or pictures or mind maps of what things look like and how they operate. You need to see it. Oral auditory music, that's when you need to hear speech or songs, and that helps you remember, or by hearing someone explain how things work or what things are to you. Verbal or linguistic is when you can read something and understand from that, or someone could simply explain things to you in words and you completely understand. It's fine for you. Physical or kinesthetic means you have to do it yourself. So either following someone's steps and repeating what they do, or you just immerse yourself in the activity and that's how you learn, that's how you remember. Then some people are logical or mathematical. They need to know the systems behind how things work in order for them to understand a concept. Social or interpersonal means that you learn in groups, or you learn by bouncing off of someone else, or you learn better when you're surrounded by other people. The next one is solitary or intrapersonal. That means you don't need nobody around you. You just need to be by yourself, learning stuff on your own, and that's how you learn best, or that's how you retain information best. And a lot of you need a quiet space in order to do so. And then the last one, which is the newest one, is naturalistic. That means that it's hard for you to retain or accept information without linking it to some natural events. When you study, you like to study outside in nature or have nature songs or stuff like that. Okay, so once you figure out how you learn best, you need to figure out when you learn best. Some people are night owls and they learn better when they stay up in the night when everyone's sleeping and they do their work then. Some people cannot function, they need to sleep. Those people tend to be more productive in the morning. They're more eager to do it and they're able to retain information better and understand stuff better. So you figure out how you learn, when you learn best, and start applying those methods to your studying regime. My 5 basic steps to anyone, no matter what your learning style is. These can help you a lot with learning and revising and studying. So the first thing would be paying attention in class. A lot of people don't take that for what it's worth. Most likely you're going to get exactly what you need to know from your teacher, someone who has studied the subject. So paying attention in class can help you out a lot. So pay attention to what is said, pay attention to the diagrams, pay attention to everything that's around you so that you can help you better recall it. Like, oh, I remember in class, Miss had on a red shirt and it was raining that day and she made a joke about something, and that's how I remember something. Like, find things to remember certain things, or listen to what a teacher is saying, follow along in your textbook. The more you see it, the more you hear it, you're better likely to remember, you're better likely to understand. The next thing I would suggest you do is reading ahead. So whether that's before the semester starts or before you move on to a new topic when you're already in school, or if you're learning online, moving on helps you. So you get familiar with the words and the terms and the images and diagrams that you have to remember. Even if you don't fully understand it at first, you get a little more familiar with it. So when it's said in class, or when you fully go into learning the topic, you kind of know what's going on. If you want to go ahead, you can watch some videos, or even before the teacher starts teaching, you have a basic understanding of what she's about to teach, and then you learn what you specifically need to remember or you specifically need to pay attention to. My 3rd thing would be to write everything down. I know some of us feel like we have a computer brain and we remember everything, but just write it down. Write it down, have that backup, write it down so you keep organized that way. You know exactly what you have to do, when you have to do it, what something is for. Write it down. Your brain fails sometimes, you're human. Write it down, prevents you forgetting stuff, prevents you becoming a total disorganized mess. Do your homework or your assignments as soon as you get them or as soon as you can do them. I know some teachers be like, homework is for home, like relax, okay? The closer you do it to when you understand it is the more likely you remember because you apply it then. So you do your homework as soon as possible and you start your assignment, whether it's a project or an essay or something like that. Start it as soon as possible so you have enough time to work on it along the way, little by little. It's less work for you overall because you're not stressed about having to do a lot of work in a short space of time. My fourth tip is to teach others or explain to others or recap with others. So if someone in your class was absent or just don't understand something, you can take it upon yourself to explain it to them, and repeating it and finding your own words to explain it to them might help you remember and better understand the concept. Repetition is key. The more you see something, the more you hear something, the more you say something, it is going to stick in your head. And the last basic step that everyone can do is set affirmations or set motivating things in your environment. So you can put up your goals for that academic semester or that academic year, whatever goals you have pertaining to school or for studying. Put your goals up in a place that reminds you and motivates you. You could put it in your room, you could put it in your bathroom, you could put it on your phone, your screensaver, whatever it is, just to help you, you know, be motivated and stay focused. And reminders help. So yes, you write everything down and you're going to check it back from time to time, but setting reminders in small increments of, okay, work on this part of your project today or this part of your homework. Set reminders, but to remind you to do tasks and that remind you to be relaxed and focused. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how to take notes or how to make index cards to be the most effective to you. When taking notes, try to use your own words as much as possible. So receive the information of whatever you're supposed to learn and then formulate it in your brain into your own words so that you always remember what something is and you're not just memorizing everything for every subject. In certain cases, there are specific definitions, or when you have formulae, you're going to have to learn those specific things. So try to minimize the exact memorization that you're going to have to do unless you're somebody with a photographic memory who easily memorizes stuff. Then you just do you. But for people who find it hard, like try putting stuff in your own words. You only really have to memorize immutable definitions or formulae. Using colors and separating things into different places is very helpful. So use the same color for a subject. Have all your stuff from that subject in that same color. That helps you stay organized. That helps your mind stay clear and focused, and you move more quickly, your brain moves quickly, you process stuff faster. And then you have specific colors for certain things. So maybe have all your definitions in one color, all your formulae in one color, all your diagrams or labels and stuff. Like coordinate your stuff with colors or with patterns so that you register things more quickly and you remember. And you have the image in your mind or the color in your mind, and it just comes quick. It just comes to you more quickly than you having to think about it or scatter for it. Use sticky notes and use tabs in your notes. Put your little sticky notes about what is important. Put your little sticky notes on your little tidbits that you picked up on your own. They are just for you. And tab everything that's important. So when you're studying, when you're going back, you have all your notes from what's relevant. What you really need to learn and remember, highlight those or tab those, and just everything else, you just go through them less often. So you're not wasting time and you're not bombarding your mind. When taking notes, also, if you don't have to take down exactly what the teacher gave to you, you can take pictures of what they have and then later on take it down in a way that's easier for you to process. Or you could just take down what the teacher gave to you and then have your own notes where you have your own layout of the information that works best for you. So you have your teacher's notes to please your teacher or for whatever requirements you need to have in school, but you have your notes for you to study and for you to understand stuff and for you to go back to. Other people might not be able to use those, but it's about you and you achieving your academic goals. And the pictures on your camera roll, use them. Write on your notes, do your exercises, stop having them piled up. For my more specialized study tips, for those of you who learn orally, come up with your songs, come up with your acronyms and your abbreviations. Come up with analogies of something and correlate it to your subjects or whatever information you're trying to remember. Make up a song, make up a rhyme, make up a rap. It works. Try it. Another thing that you can do is make recordings of yourself reading your notes or reading the things that you want to remember, or if your teacher allows it, record her in class so that you always have it to go over and listen to when you need to study, or while you sleep, or while you're doing some mindless activity. You can listen to that and that can help you study. Study in batches. So whether that's with your subjects or whether that's with your topics, don't be jumping from this topic to this subject. Like, focus on one at a time and study every topic in its entirety in batches. So learn everything that you need to know on one topic, cache it, then go on to something else, and when you're revising, do it like that. So you're not confused, you're not bombarded, and you remember everything that you have to remember. For people who need to do stuff over and over, make quizzes for yourself. So yes, you have the practice tests, I'll get into those, but make your own quizzes on stuff that you are likely to forget or stuff that you didn't quite grasp first thing on. So make your own quizzes on stuff that are difficult for you, that you really want to remember, and repeat them as much as possible. Also, you can use your tests and use the questions that you got wrong or you didn't get full marks in, and repeat those kinds of questions until it's stuck in your head, the information that you need to do or the process that you need to take to get the correct answer. Make sure and do your corrections every time you get back an exam, every time you get back a quiz. Do your corrections, and whatever you get wrong, see if it's something that you just didn't understand, or see if it's something that you just made a mistake on. If it's something you didn't understand, take it seriously and go back and make sure you understand it now, so that you'll never make the same mistake again, or you will never get that question wrong again. And then the practice tests that your teacher may give you or that you could find online, do them even when it's not even time for exams. So now that you learn a topic and you feel like you have a full grasp and you finish learning it in school, do practice tests regarding that subject on your own, the day before exams. The more you do it, the more you get practice. When the exam comes around, you'll be less anxious, you'll be less nervous, you'll feel more prepared. And when you're doing practice tests on your own, way before exams, time yourself for less time than you would actually have. And with that time, do the questions that you can do. So don't worry about stuff that you don't know, you don't understand, or you just can't get out anytime. Do the ones that you can, leave out the ones that you don't, and when you're correcting them, that's when you see what you know, what you need to know. And then you do the same step I said before by repeating those questions until it's stuck in your head and it's easy for you to do. And this is a major tip. Even if you do have good memory, or if you do have a photographic memory, write your formulae a million times, draw your diagrams that you need to remember how to draw, how to label a million times. Every time you have free time, every time the question requires you to use a formulae, write it. Write it, say it as you write it, picture it in your mind as you write it, whichever learning style works for you. Repeat it as much as possible, write it even when you don't have to write it. And draw your diagrams as much as you can and label them as much as you can, so it's really just muscle memory. And you continue doing that, you'll just know it for life. And that really helps. Definitely works in mathematics, especially if you have a hard time remembering formulae. The more you write it, the more you get accustomed to seeing it, the more likely you are to just have it in your head, and the easier it is for you to answer the questions. And some people feel like that takes up time, writing it. But in an exam, when that just flows out of your hand and you just know what to have to go where, like, do the stuff the long way during your practices, and when it comes time to perform in exams, you'll be able to, because it's muscle memory. It's something you've done 100 times. And that's the secret.